A new RBI rule for banks could pose trouble for you in processing your recurring payments from 1st of October. I'm Saloni Shukla, Deputy Banking Editor with the Economic Times, and over the course of the next couple of minutes, I'll tell you what you should do if you have issues in processing your recurring payments. Well, in August of 2019, the RBI first introduced these auto-debit rules, wherein it asked banks to set in place systems where they would take pre-authorization from their customers before deducting payments. Presently, if you are subscribed to, say, for example, a Netflix or a Google or a YouTube, you would have noticed that a lot of these payments get deducted without any authorization from your end. Earlier, some of these payments only used to go through credit cards, but banks, also brought these payments on debit cards. And the RBI realized that this whole chain was lacking a lot of transparency because users would submit their card details on a variety of platforms. Those card details would get saved. A lot of times customers weren't told that they were subscribing to certain services. So to bring in more transparency in this whole system, RBI first introduced these rules in August 2019, and they said that by December 2020, banks have to mandatorily put in systems so that they have to take a pre-debit authorization from their customers. Before the December 2020 deadline, the Indian Banks Association approached the RBI and sought, more time till March of 31st of this year. At the end of March 31st, banks sought more time to put in place these systems, and then RBI extended this rule to September of 30th, so that by October 1st, these rules can be processed seamlessly. Banks have been slow on the uptake. There have been a couple of service providers who have brought in systems to process some of these payments, but banks at their end have not been too quick to subscribe to some of these services. So if you are a customer who has not set up standing instructions or given pre-authorization for a lot of your OTT services or financial services or telecom sort of transactions or utility bills for that matter, all those transactions, all these payments will fail if you haven't set up a biller, or if you haven't given a standing instruction to your bank to debit this particular amount every month against a particular biller. But these rules don't apply to the billers that you have added, for example, for your monthly SIPs or your insurance payments on your net banking, or even if you have added standing instructions on your credit card for these particular billers, those payments will pass through. But if standing instructions have not been set up, those payments will get declined by your bank unless and until the authorized note is sent by your bank. You have a couple of options here. The banks are working, on a industry-wide platform which has been, launched by BillDesk, which is the SI Hub, and Razorpay, which is the Mandate HQ, wherein at the back end a system is integrated where these platforms come into play. There is the issuing bank, and then there are the merchants who share data among themselves, and your data is uploaded at the back end so that your bank can send you a pre-debit authorization note, and you will get an alert 24 hours before the payment is going to get deducted. wherein if you are not okay in deducting that payment, then you have to decline that particular transaction. So what we have heard is that ICICI, HDFC Bank and Axis Bank will go live with these systems by October 1. So if you're a customer of these banks, most likely you will get a pre-debit authorization note. If you don't get these notes, what you should do is that you should go and set up standing instructions in your credit and debit cards through your net banking, and you should particularly add billers for those crucial transactions that you want to pass through from either your credit or your debit card. That is something that you have to do. And if you don't set up standing instructions, then you have to manually go to the merchant's website and you have to enter your details, and then your payments will pass. That is what is going to happen for payments which are less than 5,000 rupees. For payments which are more than 5,000 rupees, you will get an additional OTP, a one-time password from your bank, which you need to enter. And then you will get a link for making those payments. So that payments have now been made a little manual, which were earlier getting processed beforehand. These are payments which don't have a standing instruction. So if you add a biller, you tell your bank that this is the time date where you want this payments to get processed. Those payments will be processed, but there will be some sort of manual intervention that will be required from your end as a consumer. What happens is that as consumers, we enter our credit or debit card details on a variety of platforms, and we don't venture into reading the long list of terms and conditions that come with sharing the personal financial details, and a lot of times we get into subscriptions that we don't wish to subscribe to. And if you want to unsubscribe, you would have to go through a countless portals where you have to go through a series of steps where you need to unsubscribe. So RBI feels that this whole system will bring in more transparency to the entire recurring payments process. That is what the RBI is aiming for, that if you are deducting a customer's account, a customer should know at least 24 hours beforehand that this is the amount of money that will get deducted from my account in the next coming hours. So this is what the RBI feels. So if you are with a large bank, hopefully say by mid-October or by the end of October, that is what banks are telling us, that the systems will flow smoothly. But a large part of the mid-sized banks haven't onboarded such systems. So if you are a customer with one of these banks, make sure that you go and set up your standing instructions or add billers if all these payments are very crucial to you.